Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're discussing a living legend, the Zenith Chronomaster T, an El Primero-powered triple calendar moon phase chronometer chronograph. You can see and you can purchase this Zenith classic on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right-hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this charming complication. Now, the watch is a charming complication. You can click that card to go to the sales listing, but first, hear my pitch. This is a watch that is universally respected by the watch collector fraternity, revered by the community of Zenith aficionados. This is as close as Zenith comes to a true design icon. From the debut of the style in the early 90s to its phase out in the late 2000s, this was, for many, the Zenith. Now, the watch is 40 millimeters across the round of the case. You can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it sits nicely. It has a classical profile. It's only 13 millimeters thick. It looks thicker because of the triple Gadron bezel, and it easily slides underneath the dress cuff. But it's also compact lug to lug. The true lug to lug dimension is 46.5 millimeters, so if you were to wear the watch on a strap, that's how it would span the wrist. Now, the bracelet, which frankly I would purchase and simply put back in the box, contributes to the retained value of the watch, but it's not my cup of tea. However, it is beautifully made, and if you want a fuller look on the wrist, it does extend the bracelet to bracelet span, so extremity to extremity, not lug to lug, out to 50 millimeters. It wears very solid. The bracelet, again, I feel the strap suits the character of the watch better, but the bracelet is beautifully made. You can see the alternately polished and satin finished links, also beautifully polished on the shoulders, beautifully finished on the underside, where the functional finish consists of broad channels between the individual links, all quite smooth and arced so that it will not pinch skin nor will it pull hair. Now, you can see the double folding buckle is quite substantial, and when closed, kind of like the Rolex crown clasp, has very low profile with only the slightest cues as to the partition point. It's very solid and inspires confidence. Now, let's start with the movement, because every El Primero is really about the movement. Consider that this watch, 40 millimeters, contains the famed 300 plus component 31 jewel column wheel chronograph, high beat 52-hour power reserve El Primero, here in caliber 410, guys. Now, you can see the column wheel just below my finger. Part of the pleasure of enjoying this watch is that you can see the column wheel interacting with the levers of the chronograph system, and now below my finger you can actually see the engagement of the lateral clutch of the chronograph. That's the advantage of a lateral clutch. No, you can't run the chronograph full time, and there's a little bit of stagger when you start the chrono, but on the case back you have full visual access to the driving mechanism, so nothing is hidden, unlike the more, shall we say, discrete vertical clutch, which is mechanically refined but aesthetically a bit soulless. Now, all elements of the movement are nicely composed, and you can see the El Primero is actually one of the more interesting automatic calibers to behold. You can see the combination of cobalt blue screws, violet pivot jewels, golden wheels, and of course the brilliant silver rhodium plated brass bridges and winding rotor. Now, you'll note Zenith uses a unique finishing tradition across its El Primero and Elite calibers, wherein all of the polished screws are used for assembly of components, and all of the blued screws are used for adjustment of the base caliber as well as the chronograph. That's the cue to the watchmaker. You'll also note Zenith's quirky practice of putting perlage or engine turning across the bridges rather than the base plate, but it is a beautiful movement to behold. It has depth, it has color, it has detail. It's one of the most rewarding automatic winding casebacks you'll find. Of course, the 52-hour power reserve solidly more than the industry standard 42, and it is an El Primero, so it has the characteristic double step cadence at 36,000 vibrations per hour. It beats 10 times per second versus the industry standard 8. You'll also note it creates a smoother sweep of this chronograph seconds hand, and it can resolve to within 1/10 of a second. There is a triple date discreetly hidden into the dial, and a tremendous amount of information is beautifully presented here without creating chaos or a busy dial composition. All of the stylized Roman numerals are applied and polished. You'll note the day, the month, of course there's the date window discreetly at 4 o'clock, and the moon phase. Now, in addition to the triple calendar and the column wheel chronograph, you also have COSC chronometer status, and not all of the Chronomasters were that. From the early 90s to about 2002, they were COSC certified. Afterwards, not. So these earlier examples are more desirable by virtue of that fact. With a combination of complexity and traditional discrete size, with a go-anywhere black dial white metal combination, this is as close as you could come to the one perfect watch. Yes, I just used the phrase perfect watch, and this Zenith Chronomaster T 40mm in stainless steel is darn close to that. You can see it, and you can judge for yourself on our website.